How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. Okay, so anyone who has been friends with me for a while or has paid attention to my blog or anything of that like knows that one of my favorite developers of all time is Treasure. Treasure is a group of ex-Konami programmers. Well, it was started by a group of ex-Konami programmers who got tired of, doing the same old, Contra Castlevania, Gradius. That was their routine. They got tired of it. They wanted to do their own thing. And they broke away and started their own development team. Now, that team initially worked primarily on the Sega Genesis. Their first title, one of their first titles is the critically acclaimed top 5 on pretty much anybody's best pure action games of all time list, Gunstar Heroes. One of my personal 4 or 5 favorite games ever. Now, probably their second or third game is today's title. It's, like I said, it's a platformer. It has a pretty interesting little wrinkle in the gameplay as far as your defense mechanic or attack mechanic, however you look at it. And the atmosphere and theme of the game is pretty interesting, especially considering that this game, in no uncertain terms, is probably one of the more original games conceptually for the Sega Genesis. Now, my copy of this title is in deplorable condition. The previous owner wrote their name on the cover, which is a big no-no. But, alas, today's game, Dynamite Headdy. I need to get another copy of this. It looks horrible. Okay, so Dynamite Headdy stars, it takes place in a puppet show. All of the characters are puppets. You play as a puppet named Headdy. And essentially you're trying to rescue other puppets who were captured by this by the evil king, the Dark Demon or whatever. And the Dark Demon has unleashed his forces on your town or whatever you want to call it. Like I said, it's set up to look like a puppet show. The game is pretty much your standard platformer fare from that time period, and it looks good. It looks really good for Genesis standards, because some Genesis games just didn't look as sharp as they could have graphically. Dynamite Headdy, Rise Star, other platformers of that ilk, they look phenomenal, and the graphics have held up extremely well over the years. Headdy actually has this interesting skill where he can adopt different heads and use them as weapons. Now, this wasn't the first time that this play mechanic was seen. It was previously seen in Decap Attack, where you would play as this mummy, and you could pick up different heads and use them as weapons. It was also in a way seen in Toki, where you could pick up different helmets for Toki to wear during the course of the game, and they would give him different abilities. But Dynamite Headdy is a lot faster than both of those games, so it has a different feel altogether. The character design, the level layouts, the soundtrack, everything is top notch, and you see where Treasure made their mark. You see that they pretty much were one of the developers that mastered the Sega Genesis, and this game is an utter masterpiece. The bonus levels had a lot of attitude. Like, the bonus levels were a lot of fun. There was one in particular, the basketball level, that was pretty cool. There were these two cannons on either 2 or 3 cannons, depending on how far along in the game you were, and they would fire basketballs up, and there were moving baskets going left to right. You would fire off your head and hit the basketballs and knock them into the baskets, stuff like that. Boss fights were incredible. You see the Konami influence there with the multi-jointed, really huge bosses. Also with the level design in general, you see the Konami influence there. This game is definitely a Konami game at heart. So, and as much as I love Konami, I heartily recommend Dynamite Headdy and anything that Treasure has made up to this point. So definitely you should check out Dynamite Headdy. It's not a very hard game to find. Hence, I will be replacing this copy very soon, because this is horrible. Don't do this to your cartridges, people. This has been 8-Bit Animal, and I will catch you beautiful people tomorrow.